Hi, I'm Jen. Welcome to my Pennsylvania Zone 6B garden. I definitely have a lot going on in this video. First of all, we're going to remove some unwanted perennials in the back garden. I'm going to transplant just a couple of annual seedlings that need to be moved in order to transplant a boxwood. This boxwood is an established boxwood that I've had for over 5 years. Let's go ahead and get started. Right here, I'm going to be transplanting a little bit of this larkspur. And right here is where the evergreen is going to go, the boxwood. And then real quickly, since I'm here, I'm going to dig out this clump and that clump of Shasta daisies because I don't like them and they need to go. The reason that I'm removing the Shasta daisies is because I grew them from seed, and when I grew them from seed, I didn't thin out the seedlings. Why is it important to thin out your seedlings? Because it allows proper airflow in between each plant. So because I didn't thin these seedlings out, there was a lot of competition. The stalks did not grow straight, and overall, the plants just look messy. According to my clock, that only took 3 minutes, and that was something that has been bothering me for quite a while. So if there's anybody watching that is looking at a plant or shrub or tree in their landscape and they just don't love it, I'm going to give you permission to go ahead and get rid of it. If it does not make you happy, it needs to go. Now on to transplanting just a couple little bunches of larkspur that had self-seeded from last year. I needed to move these larkspur because that is the exact spot that I want to plant my boxwood. Now, please note that larkspur does not like to be transplanted, so if these don't take, that is okay. I have plenty of seedlings all over the garden, but I thought since I was able to get such a good root ball when I was digging these up, I would go ahead and transplant them and see what happens. Now on to digging the hole for the boxwood. Now, when you are digging a hole to plant a plant, especially an evergreen, you want to make sure that you dig the hole about twice as wide as the root ball and just as deep as a root ball. You do not want the root ball, when you plant this boxwood, to be sunken in under the ground. You want the tip of the root ball to be sticking out of the ground. Now, what is a root ball? We'll get into that in just a moment. And the moment we have all been waiting for, it's time to start removing the boxwood from its original location to move it to its new home. And this is where we're going to talk about the root ball. The first step in digging up a plant is to make sure that you have a very large root ball. The root ball is basically the structure underneath the plant where all the roots are housed. Now, you want to make sure that you are getting all of the roots possible without causing any damage. This allows for a more successful transplant. Once I have decided that I have dug the hole deep enough and wide enough, I'm going to start filling the hole with water to really hydrate this plant. Hydration is key. And if you have it, now would be the time that you would put some starter fertilizer into the hole to stimulate root growth. I do not have any more starter fertilizer, so I'm just going to skip this step. And of course, it is always best garden practice to make sure that all your fertilizers that you are using are organic. Now that I know that the plant is super hydrated, I'm going to start filling back in. I'm going to make sure that I pack the soil down in around the root ball very tightly to make sure that there's no air pockets. You can see that for the most part, my soil is nice and dark and rich, and that means it is full of nutrients. So I'm not going to add any additional amendments when I am filling this hole back in. I'm just going to use my native soil. But if your soil is a little too rocky, a little too much clay, a little too sandy, and you feel like it doesn't have a lot of nutrients in it, you can always buy a bag of organic compost and amend that into the soil, and that will also help stimulate root growth, and that will make your tree super happy. And the next step is to add an organic evergreen fertilizer on top of the root ball right around the whole tree. You can see I'm making a nice pretty ring right here of organic biotone fertilizer. I am using the evergreen biotone fertilizer right now just because that is what I have on hand. If you do not have this organic evergreen fertilizer, you can use any type of organic all-purpose granular fertilizer.
How good does this look right here?
That looks really good.
I know! Does it look straight from your angle?
Yeah, actually, yeah, it does. It does.
I'm going back and forth in between using my foot and gently tamping down the soil around the root ball to make sure that there is no air pockets and hydrating the tree as much as possible. Maintenance is going to be just making sure that this tree stays hydrated throughout the growing season. I'll check it 1 to 2 to even 3 times a week to make sure that it is growing and is happy in its new home. I wanted to share a quick picture of the root ball so you can see how it is elevated above ground level. And this basically ensures that your plant is not going to suffocate and drown.
Lucky enough, sometimes the tree actually just decides where it wants to live. And I really do think this is one of those situations. Even if I do have it planted a little off kilter, that's okay because when I prune it up, I can make it a little more straight. But that evergreen interest was so needed right there. It's amazing what one plant in the right spot can do. I'm telling you, I could not be more pleased.
I hope you had as much fun watching this as I did making this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!